I want to give a special shout out to all my patrons first. Thank you so much to my Bibliospren, Bibliohowlers, and my Bibliomancers. It means a lot to me that you give me your extra support for my passion and hobby. Hi everyone, Patek here. Today's video will be SFF Spotlight episode 43. Yeah, I think I remember that correctly. And for those of you who are new here, this is where I will talk about new book news, new cover reveals, new special edition, and also new noteworthy release in the adult science fiction and fantasy genre. And in today's episode, we have almost 30 topics to spotlight. And that's only about, I think, only within 10 days. As usual, I am astounded by how many news I can always find just within this particular genre and market within the span of 10 days. So yeah, let's get started immediately. And the first one that I want to mention, the first one that I want to spotlight is the finalists for SPFBO 10 or SPFBO, self-published fantasy block off that is hosted by Mark Lawrence. The finalist has been revealed. This is usually the most exciting part of SPFBO, and not gonna lie, I haven't read any of the finalists listed, although some have definitely caught my attention, like The Wick Wire Watch by Jacqueline Hagen, Daughter of the Beast by E.C. Greaves, The Last Ranger by Josiah Russell, Cold West by Clayton Schneider, and more. So if you are in need of a new great indie or self-published fantasy books to read, well, check out these finalists. And speaking of SPFBO, the next news that I want to spotlight is book news from one of the finalists of SPFBO. I think it was in the year 2017, if I'm not mistaken, 2017 or 2016. So I'm talking about the new book by Dyrk, Ashton, co-written with David Estes. So Dyrk Ashton is the writer behind the Patterns trilogy, one of my favorite urban fantasy series, and David Estes is the author behind many books such as Fate Mark series and also the Kingfall History series. I haven't read anything by David Estes yet, but as I said, I'm a fan of Patterns trilogy, and now the announcement has been revealed along with the cover art, and the title of the book is Kraken Rider Z. And apparently this book is about a Kraken Rider versus Dragon Rider. And yeah, I think that's all I need to hear. And the cover art is done by Daniel Kamarudin, and this will be published by Raidmark Creative. The release date will be November 14, and although I'm not sure whether I will be able to get around to this one within this year or not, I hope I can, but there is only 2 months before the year ends. But if I fail to do that, I will make sure to read this in the month of January. I have been waiting for a new book by Dyrk Ashton ever since I finished Paternus War of Gods, and I'm glad that now I finally have the chance to read his newest book. And that's not the only new book announcement, and the next one I want to spotlight will be a new South Asian inspired epic fantasy, and this is Kavithri by Bedi. This is the first book in the Gozo of Ethuran trilogy, and the author has really pitched this as something truly exciting because he has mentioned that Kaladin from the Stormlight Archive, the Bridge Burners from Malazan Book of the Fallen, and then Berserk, Evangelion, and Vagabond are all big inspiration into the creation of Kavithri, and well, all of them are some of my favorite series. And of course, I look forward to reading this one. The cover art is done by Gibi Joseph, and this, I think, will be released in the month of May 2024. It is easily one of my most anticipated debuts of next year. And speaking of one of my most anticipated book, well, the next thing to spotlight is Empire of the Dam by J. Kristoff. This is not your standard special edition to spotlight because this is for an ARC edition, advanced reading copy edition of Empire of the Dam. Apparently, there is a chance to win a giveaway of this one. Well, not really a giveaway, but a charity giveaway. So, Empire of the Dam, the ARC, apparently it's done in hardback. That is something incredibly rare. I have been reviewing books for 7 years now. This is the first time I see a hardback advanced reading copy. And J. Kristoff has made an announcement that it is possible for you or anybody to win a copy of this very rare advanced reading copy, and that is to donate to Medicine Sans Frontiers or Doctors Without Borders. I will leave the link to the details in the description down below. So if you are someone who really want to get a copy of this one, make sure to check it out. So I guess you can kinda consider that advanced reading copy also, well, technically a limited and special edition. But before we talk about a Kickstarter and special edition, I want to spotlight three things first, and that is to talk about TV show adaptation, anime, and manga. I have three news to spotlight today. The first one is regarding the season 2 of House of the Dragon. So it has been confirmed that early summer 2024, season 2 of House of the Dragon will premiere. And I think I might end up watching season 1 again first before the season 2 begins. As some of you might know already, I am a huge fan of House of the Dragon season 1, and I cannot wait to watch season 2 as soon as possible. And moving on to the next topic, I am not sure how many of you actually know about this manga or anime, but I'm talking about Noragami by Adachitoka. I actually really love this manga and anime. I have actually read the manga and also watched the anime adaptation. Love both of them. And well, it has been announced that in January, the manga will be coming to an end. And I cannot wait to read the continuation of Yato's story. Well, the ending of Yato's story. I guess this means that it is time for me to do a second read of the entire manga series. And speaking of series coming to an end, well, the next thing I want to spotlight is regarding Attack on Titan. Well, I'm not talking about the anime adaptation here, although I do think that the final episode, it was absolutely brilliant, phenomenal, incredible, really loved it very much. And well, I'm not here to talk about that, although I just did, but today's news is about regarding the 18 pages new manga on Attack on Titan. Apparently, it has been revealed that the new 18 pages manga will be about Levi's childhood. Captain Levi or Levi Heisho. Yeah, it is about Levi's childhood, and I'm not sure what will be written in that 18 pages. Probably it is to elaborate further upon the details of the childhood of Levi, and hopefully it will be a great one. We have seen some of them in Kunai Sentaku OVA anime, but maybe this will be something good as well. I mean, come on, it is Levi. Okay, I guess now it is time to talk about a special edition. Let's start with 6 Kickstarter projects to spotlight today. The first one that I want to spotlight is regarding Iron Prince and also Fire and Song. So Fire and Song is the second book in Warform Stormweaver by Bryce O'Connor. And some of you might know about Iron Prince. It is one of the most popular and best-selling self-published progression fantasy series. And well, Fire and Song, the sequel, has been released and it hit the number 3 spot in the entire Kindle store. That is absolutely incredible. So well done and congratulations to Bryce O'Connor for that. But this is not only about that. It has been a long time coming, but now there is a Kickstarter page for a Kickstarter campaign for the hardcover edition of both Iron Prince and also Fire and Song. I cannot wait to get my hands on these, even though I haven't read the series yet. Well, Iron Prince has been in my TBR for quite a while now, but hopefully before this Kickstarter campaign has launched, hopefully I will have read at least Iron Prince. And yeah, the first book and also the second book, I think is about 800 pages to 1000 pages long each. So yeah, it is a long and well, massive progression fantasy series. If you're interested in getting yourself a hardback copy of Iron Prince and also Fire and Song, then make sure to check out the Kickstarter page and click Notify Me so you can be notified when the Kickstarter campaign has gone live. And the next 2 Kickstarter campaigns I want to mention, both of them haven't gone live yet, but the Kickstarter page is available already. And the next one that I want to spotlight is regarding A Pursuit of Shadows by G.A. Andrews. So this one is the sequel to The Threat of Shadows. And if I'm not mistaken, the Kickstarter campaign for Threat of Shadows has ended quite successfully. And well, the product is going to be delivered really soon. I think within this month. So that's why there's a Kickstarter campaign for the second book now, The Pursuit of Shadows. This is the second book in the Keeper Chronicle series, and the first book actually utilized a red color. The second book will utilize a blue color. And I assume the third one will utilize a green or maybe yellow color. We will see, but I look forward to seeing how this one will turn out. And the next Kickstarter campaign to spotlight, this is again for the Gunmetal Gods by Zamil Akhtar. If you have seen Daniel Green's fantasy news, then I think you will have known about this Kickstarter campaign. And you know what? This Kickstarter campaign, although it hasn't launched yet, I think currently at the time of recording this video, about 1,100 people are waiting for the release of this Kickstarter campaign. And that is absolutely incredible, insane. And I think it is almost guaranteed that this Kickstarter campaign will be successful. I predict at least $100,000 in funding, even though it hasn't launched yet. But Zamil Akhtar has revealed the cover art by Rashad. It will be designed by Rachel St. Clair, and there will be interior artworks by Andrew Malaski and also Joel Chaim Holtzman. So yeah, as Zamil Akhtar mentioned, this will be the ultimate edition of Gunmetal Gods, and I think he planned to do the same for the remaining books in the series. And Zamil Akhtar has confirmed that the final book in Gunmetal Gods will be released in the year 2024, next year. So it is the right time to get yourself a copy of the ultimate edition of Gunmetal Gods. And for the remaining 3 Kickstarter campaign I want to spotlight today, all of them, the Kickstarter campaign has begun. And the first one is for the Kingdom of Dragons by Jade Herne. The cover art and the at least four interior artworks are done by Yasu Matsuoka. And if you are a fan of Dragon Rider fantasy, you know, a thing that is really coming back into popularity this year, then I think you should check out the Kickstarter campaign. It's also kind of refreshing to actually see a Kickstarter campaign that, well, uses a different artist, in my opinion. Because a lot of the Kickstarter campaign that I have spotlighted on my channel, although they are all looking incredible, but many of them actually, well, uses the same artist, and it's good to have more artists being featured in SFF Spotlight. And speaking of same artists, well, the next Kickstarter campaign I want to spotlight will again feature some artists that you might have heard about on my YouTube channel or maybe other place. But yeah, they are very prominent in self-published fantasy Kickstarter right now. And this will be for the first book in the Mage saga by Ken Warner. The title is Wizard, and the cover art will be done by Rachel St. Clair. There will be full color end sheet and full color interior artworks by Omer Burak Onal and also Andrew Malaski. And of course, it will come with a premium acid-free paper, Smith soon binding, and basically pulling out all the stuffs of a great premium edition. I haven't read this book, I haven't read this series yet, and hopefully the content of the book will be as good as the design and also the interior artworks of a Wizard. And for the last Kickstarter campaign I'm going to spotlight in today's video, this isn't actually being done through Kickstarter, but this is done through Backer Kit. And this book, the title is Tegan Redux by Even Mel Amundsen. And I'm telling you, this is one of the most beautiful books that I have ever seen. The white design looks pristine, and also almost every page in this book will come with an interior artworks done by the author himself. And the price of the standard edition is €70. And also, I will just let the pictures and the details speak for themselves. Make sure to check out this Backer Kit campaign in the description down below. Just like Wizard by Ken Warner, I haven't read this too, but I certainly look forward to reading this if I end up pledging myself to this one. So that's it for Kickstarter campaigns. Now let's talk about special edition. And the first one that I want to spotlight, this is just a teaser, but Subterranean Press on their Facebook group has revealed maybe a cover art or the interior artworks of Jade City by Fonda, Subterranean Press edition. The cover art and also the interior artworks will be done by Micah Epstein, one of my favorite cover artists. I think he has done such an excellent job on this just one art. I'm still not sure whether there will be interior artworks. Usually there is in Subterranean Press edition, but if they're anything as good as this teaser, then wow, this special edition will turn out into something truly incredible. I know that Subterranean Press readers who love collecting books and also Subterranean Press edition, they are all waiting for this edition, and I think it will be a bloodbath when the sales has gone live. But it is not happening within this year. The pre-order for Jade City Subterranean Press edition will take place in the year 2024. And you bet I will do my best to get myself a copy of that, because the Green Bone Saga is my favorite trilogy of all time. And for the next one, this is a big one because this will contain multiple special editions. And Grim Oak Press, Sean Spickman from the Grim Oak Press, has announced their special editions for the first quarter of 2024, starting with House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, with a cover art and interior artworks by David Curtis. And then we have Stone of Farewell by Tad Williams, the second book in the Austen Art Saga. And of course, Donato Giancola is back once again to do the cover art and the interior artworks. I plan to get this one if possible. Hopefully, I can manage to get a copy, and also hopefully it will be quite affordable for me. After that, we have The Desert Spear by Peter V. Brett, the second book in the Demon Cycle, with a cover art and interior artworks by Alan Williams. And then The Summer Tree by Guy Gabriel Kay, with a cover art and interior illustrations by Julian Delval. And finally, Fool's Moon by Jim Butcher with the cover art and probably interior artworks by Chris McGrath. This is the second book in the Dresden Files series, and I think it is a great decision to not feature any text in the cover art because it made the cover art looks more striking. So yeah, these 5 special editions is coming next year. And the next special edition to Spotlight, this is something truly magnificent in its production, value and quality. And this is Hyperion by Dan Simmons, published by Curious King. Now, I have owned a copy of The Blade itself by Joe Abercrombie Curious King edition, and I am still, to this day, still speechless by how incredible that special edition is. And well, the next project by Curious King has been revealed, and it is for the Hyperion, the first book in the Hyperion Cantos by Dan Simmons. And now there is only 2 editions, but they are not cheap, okay? They are expensive. The deluxe edition will be priced at £650 and the lettered edition will be priced at £2,850. Just like the Blade itself, this will be done in 2-color letterpress printing, and there will be 8 fully colored art and 23 black and white artwork, all of them illustrated by Jamie Jones, probably one of the most legendary artists working right now in the science fiction and fantasy genre. He has worked on Destiny, Star Wars, and many more cover art. Now, I know what you're thinking, that price is expensive. And well, some of you might be thinking, who will buy this kind of books with this kind of price? But I guarantee you, there is a big chance that by the time I post this video, this edition, all of them have been sold out. If there's one thing that I have come to learn about books and also special edition, well, people are willing to spend a lot of money for their favorite books. I have only read Hyperions and haven't continued reading the series yet, but I can tell that the quality of this product, based on the Blade itself that I own, will be spectacular. I am confident about that. And moving on to the next special edition, this is for something more affordable, but probably kind of hard to get if you are not in the subscription program. And I'm talking about the next subscription books by The Broken Binding. No, I'm not going to tell you the title. I will let The Broken Binding reveal that. But The Broken Binding has revealed the cover art by Randy Vargas, which absolutely looks incredible, and also the end paper artworks by Herne Eichner. And I am really happy to see that Randy Vargas and also Herne Eichner are starting to provide their artwork more for The Broken Binding because they are amazing artists and it's great. I already know what the book is, and honestly, some have actually predicted what the book and the trilogy will be. But again, as I said, I will let The Broken Binding reveal the title and the series themselves. But this is their subscription book for the month of January until March. And if you are someone in the Broken Binding subs right now, tier 1 or tier 2, make sure to hold on to that because I know the title they will release for the month of April until September, and they are insane. That's all I will say. And for the next piece of news to Spotlight, this is still related to The Broken Binding, and this is for their 4th Broken Binding press title. And yes, this is for The Fall by Ryan Cahill. This is the prequel novella in the Bound and the Broken series, the first prequel novella in the Bound and the Broken series, and the pre-order date for this one has been revealed. Well, not the date, but it will take place at the end of this month. Yes, the pre-order will take place at the end of November. So if you are someone who owned a copy of Blood and Fire, the Broken Binding Press Edition, then I think it is possible to get a matching number of The Fall, the Broken Binding Press Edition. And it seems like Ryan Cahill and also the Broken Binding is really pulling out all the stops to this edition. Based on everything that I have seen so far, The Fall, although it is a novella, will top of Blood and Fire. And also, before I forget, the Broken Binding has also announced that they're going to be doing a special edition of The Green Rider by Kristen Britton. I know that this is quite a popular series. I think there is a niche fan base for this one, but I haven't read anything by Kristen Britton yet. You have to let me know whether her series are actually worth pursuing or not. But yeah, there will be a special edition for this series published by The Broken Binding. And speaking of subscription earlier, well, Page & Wick has revealed their title for the month of January. And for those of you who don't know, Page & Wick is a new company, and also their November title this month is The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wong. I am still waiting for my copy of that, but they have revealed their books for, well, they have teased their book for the month of January. The theme will be The Bind of Fate. I know what book this is, but I haven't read it, but this is a grim dark adult epic fantasy debut with a multiple POV character. It will come with a brand new cover art and also new spray edges and new naked cover art, and I assume and papers as well. But unfortunately, at the moment, their subscription program I think is full, but who knows, there might be some spots available eventually. And the last special edition to Spotlight, this will be for the Barnes & Noble edition of Sons of Darkness by Gaurav Mohanty. This is the first book in the Rack of Rata series, and yes, the Sons of Darkness will be released in the US in 2024. Sons of Darkness was my favorite debut of last year, and this is pretty much Mahabharata combines with Malazan, Book of the Fallen, A Song of Ice and Fire, and also The First Law. Yeah, I know those are big hitters, but you can tell their inspiration in the Sons of Darkness, and I have been waiting for the sequel, The Dance of Shadows, for quite a while now. But for those of you who are in the United States and you want a copy of the hardback, of the beautiful hardback with the cover art illustrated by Michaela Alcaino, then I think next year you can do that. Now let's move on to the topic of cover reveals. I have 5 books to spotlight today, and the first one will be for The Daughter's War by Christopher Buehlman. The cover art, just like the first book, The Black Tongue Thief, is illustrated by Mary Bergenon, and I think it looks so beautiful. And also The Black Tongue Thief has a yellow cover scheme, and this one has a red cover art. But this one is actually a prequel to The Black Tongue Thief. It will features on the character Galva. If you have read The Black Tongue Thief, you will know who Galva is. And of course, this is easily one of my most anticipated books of 2024. I had such a great time reading The Black Tongue Thief, and I have been waiting for its sequel since then. I finally will get that next year. And again, spectacular cover art, and congratulations to Christopher Buehlman for this. The Daughter's War is published by Tor Books, and for the next one, the next cover reveal is for a book published by Tor.com. This is for Asunder by Kirsten Hall. This has been pitched as For the Wolf meets Sabriel, and it will be released in August 2024. The cover art looks gorgeous. It is illustrated by Greg Root, and honestly, everything by Kirsten Hall, every one of them has beautiful cover art, but I haven't read anything by her yet, and I hope to get around to this one. Fingers crossed within next year. And moving on to the next 2 cover reveals I want to spotlight, both of them actually features same cover artist done by Tom Roberts. And the first one will be for the UK edition of The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. Now this one will be released in the year 2024 as well, just like The Daughter's War. I think this one will be released in February 2024. Some of you who have been following my reviews or YouTube channel for quite a while know that I am a fan of Robert Jackson Bennett, and well, I have been fortunate enough to actually get an advance reading copy of The Tainted Cup, I think for a few months now, but I will make sure to read that this month and let you know my thoughts. But well, considering my experience with Robert Jackson Bennett, Divine City Trilogy, and also the Founders Trilogy, I think it is almost guaranteed that I will love The Tainted Cup as well. And also, the next cover art to spotlight, again, as I mentioned earlier, this will also have a cover art done by Tom Roberts. This is for the sequel to The God Killer by Hannah Kefner. The title of the sequel is The Sunbringer. Again, beautiful cover art. I own a copy of God Killer sent to me by my friend June. Thank you so much to June for that copy, but I still haven't read God Killer yet. But I have a plan to actually read God Killer and also Sunbringer within next year. I know that the third and the final book will be released in the year 2025. I know that Al really loved God Killer, and he's hoping that I will end up enjoying God Killer as much as she did. And for the remaining 2 cover art I want to spotlight today, both of them are self-published fantasy books, and the first one will be for the Omnibus edition for the first 3 books in A Thousand Lee series by Tao Wong. A Thousand Lee at the moment is already 9 books long, and I believe the book number 10 will be released in the year 2024. Book number 10 and probably book number 11. The series will end at book number 12, and I think that will happen in the year 2025. So this Omnibus edition will compile of the first 3 in paperback and also most likely eventually hardcover format next year. But the paperback will be released this year. In fact, this month in November 15th. So if all goes according to plan, I think in total there will be 4 omnibus copy of the entire series. And the last cover reveal I want to spotlight today is for the newest book by Kian R. Dalan. And no, this is not the sequel to 11 Cycle. This is a new sci-fi book by Kian R. Dalan with a cover art done by Fahmi Fauzi. And the title of this book is Fedez Ex Machina. Should I call that FedEx Machina? But yeah, this is the newest book by Kian Ardalan, and based on how much I love reading 11th Cycle, I think I will make sure to get a copy of this one as well. I'm not sure what to expect here. I have read only one book by Kian Ardalan, and that's 11th Cycle, so I hope the sci-fi book by him will be as good as 11th Cycle, or maybe even better, who knows. And now we move on to the last section of SFF Spotlight. It is time to feature some new noteworthy release. I have 4 books to spotlight today, and 4 of them are out now. And the first one is for Bookshops and Bundas by Travis Baldry. And this is the prequel novel to Legends and Lattes. I have read and reviewed Bookshops and Bundas. I think it is another great cozy fantasy, even though it has a bit too much action. And because of that, I do prefer Legends and Lattes more than Bookshops and Bundas. But if you want a cozy fantasy, you cannot really go wrong with choosing Travis Baldry's books. I think he has really nailed the recipes for a good cozy fantasy in his books, and I know there will be more books in the Legends and Lattes world, probably in the year 2024 and 2025, and I look forward to reading all of them. But before that, Bookshops and Bundas is out now. And the next new release I want to spotlight today will be for The King Killing Queen by Sean Spickman. This book has the same release date as Bookshops and Bundas, meaning November 7, but I had the opportunity to actually read and review this one early. For those of you who want to know my full thoughts regarding The King Killing Queen, you can check out my reviews on Goodreads or also on Novel Notions. But I really love the cover art of this one. The cover art is done by Magali Villeneuve. The interior artworks are done by Donato Giancola. The edition that I read, it was an advanced reading copy, and I have no doubt the hardcover copy published through Kickstarter campaign will be even more gorgeous. And for the remaining 3 books to spotlight today, you know what? As I said earlier, Dragon Rider Fantasy is really in right now. All 3 of them are Dragon Rider Fantasy. Well, probably not the first one because I haven't read it, but the first one is for the Omnibus edition for the Dragon's Blade trilogy by Michael Miller. It is available to purchase now, so if you want a copy of the first trilogy by Michael Miller, not the Songs of Chaos series, I know that Songs of Chaos is definitely Dragon Rider because I'm still in the middle of reading that series, but Dragon's Blade, I have no idea whether that's a Dragon Rider fantasy or not, but the Dragon title is definitely there. The Omnibus hardback edition of this one is available to purchase now, and then the next book that I want to spotlight is Murtagh by Paolini. This is the newest book in the world of Alagasia, well, basically the sequel to Inheritance Cycle, and I haven't read the Inheritance Cycle past Eragon. I have read only Eragon, but I know that this series is mega popular. And Murtagh is not the only Dragon Rider fantasy book that is being released by Paolini, because Eragon, the new illustrated edition, is being released as well. It is out now, and yeah, it is available. If, let's say, I am a fan of Eragon, then there is no doubt that I will get a copy of this one, because this book, this special edition, it is looking very striking and beautiful. The artwork by Siddharth Chaturvedi, all of them looks beautiful. So if you are a fan of Eragon, make sure to take a look into this one. I think the price on Amazon US is about $35, and I think it will be worth the purchase if you are a fan of Eragon and also the Inheritance Cycle. It's so beautiful, not gonna lie. And finally, the last noteworthy release to spotlight today, and I do not think that it needs my spotlight. This is for Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros, the sequel to Fourth Wing, arguably the most successful and the most popular, not only fantasy, but the most popular book this year. This book has pretty much made romantasy explode within this year. Even though romantasy has always been a subgenre that exists before this year, but this year it has really become a thing because of Fourth Wing, and now the sequel, Iron Flame, is out. I know that some of you are actually waiting for me to do a read and also review of Fourth Wing, and I cannot make any promises. That might happen, but if I end up hating that book, then I will hold you all accountable for it, okay? So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for me today. That's all the news that I managed to gather within the past 10 days. Well, not really all the news. There are still many news that I have to apparently exclude because there are just too many news to spotlight. But as always, do let me know what you think about the news that I spotlighted today in my SFF Spotlight video. And yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. Bye bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.